My brother secretly took out a loan in my name. My parents told me to pay it off and stay quiet. But when I reported it as fraud, they gave me an ultimatum: drop it or you're out of the family. My response: enjoy your golden child, I'm done. I still remember the exact moment my world turned upside down. I was sitting in my tiny apartment, sipping on my first cup of coffee that Saturday morning, enjoying the rare peace of having no obligations for the day. My phone buzzed with an email notification: your payment is overdue. Please remit $3,573 immediately to avoid penalties. I frowned, my heart skipping a beat. I didn't have any loans. I wasn't behind on any payments. Hell, I was the kind of person who paid my credit card bill the second I used it just to avoid debt. I clicked the email open and read through it again. It was from a bank I didn't recognize, tied to a loan I had never applied for. At first, I assumed it was some kind of scam. But then I noticed the details: my name, my address, even my social security number. This wasn't a phishing attempt, it was real. A cold wave of realization washed over me as I dialed the bank's customer service. The woman on the other end was polite but firm. Yes, the loan was taken out under my name. No, it wasn't a mistake. The funds had been deposited 3 months ago into an account that was suspiciously familiar. An account that belonged to my brother, Mark. My stomach churned. There had to be a mistake. There was no way my own brother would. And then it hit me, flashback. Just trust me, David, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Mark's voice was filled with his usual unshakable enthusiasm, the kind that had gotten him into and out of more failed ventures than I could count. I leaned back in my chair, rubbing my temples. Mark, the last once-in-a-lifetime opportunity you dragged me into cost me 10 grand. I still haven't recovered from that mess. That was different, he argued. That startup had issues, bad management, but this is solid. We're talking about an AI-driven financial assistant that's going to change the way people invest. The market is shifting. And if we get in early, I sighed. How much? His eyes lit up. If we both put in 25 grand each, we'll be listed as founding investors. That means when the company goes public. I held up a hand. No, absolutely not. I can't do that again. Mark, his excitement dimmed but only for a second. Okay. What if you don't invest directly? What if you just help me secure a loan temporarily, just to get my foot in the door? I shot him a sharp look. What do you mean secure a loan? He shifted in his seat, playing it off as casual. Just a simple document, general power of attorney. It would let me handle some financial transactions in your name, strictly for the investment, nothing else. You know I'd never do anything to screw you over. I hesitated. Mark was reckless, but he wasn't a bad person. He was my brother, he had big dreams, and I had seen firsthand how hard he worked to make them happen. This is the last time, I said firmly, grabbing a pen. If this goes south, I'm done. No more investments, no more schemes. You want money? Go get a job like everyone else. Mark grinned and clapped me on the shoulder. You won't regret this, bro. We're going to make millions. We made exactly zero. The startup went under within 6 months. The founders disappeared, and Mark was left scrambling to pay off debts. He begged me for more time, swearing he'd fix it. I refused. I told him I was done funding his dreams, that he needed to grow up and face reality. That was the last time we spoke about it, or so I thought. Present, I stared at the email on my phone, my stomach twisting. The general power of attorney, that's how he did it. That's how he had taken out a loan in my name without me knowing. He still had access, and he had used it. My phone rang. Mom, I answered, my voice tight. Did you know about this? Her sigh told me everything. David, listen. I cut her off. He took out a loan in my name. Mom, that's fraud. Mark was in a rough spot, she said quickly. He thought he could pay it back before you noticed. I let out a bitter laugh. Oh great, that makes everything fine then. No problem. He stole my identity, but as long as he intended to pay it back, I should just let it go, right? David, keep your voice down, she hissed. We don't need to make this a bigger deal than it is. Mom, this is a big deal. I could press charges. She exhaled sharply. You won't do that, David. I clenched my jaw. Why not? Because if you do, you'll ruin his life. You'll ruin our family's reputation. There it was, the real reason. It's just money, she continued. You have a stable job, you can afford to pay it off. Mark can't. I felt something inside me snap. Let me get this straight. Mark commits fraud, and instead of being mad at him, you're mad at me for not just sucking it up. You don't have to be dramatic. Mom, this is illegal. There was a pause, then her voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. You're going to pay off that loan, and you're going to keep your mouth shut. That's what a good son would do. I hung up without another word. I sat there for a long time, staring at my phone, my mind racing. My own mother had just told me to pay off a fraudulent loan and keep quiet because that's what a good son would do. I should have seen this coming. Mark had always been reckless, always chasing the next big idea, always swearing that he was one step away from making it big, and every time he failed, someone else, usually me, was left cleaning up his mess. Not this time. I grabbed my jacket and keys, heading straight to my parents' house. The moment I stepped inside, I could feel the tension in the air. My mother was in the kitchen, arms crossed, lips pressed into a thin line. My father sat in his recliner, flipping through a newspaper like nothing was happening. And Mark was sitting on the couch, his phone in one hand, a beer in the other, looking bored. David, listen, my mother started. But I held up a hand. Where's the money? I demanded, staring directly at Mark. He blinked, then smirked like this was some minor inconvenience. What money? The loan. The one you took out in my name. Where is it? He scoffed. Relax, man, it's not like I blew it all at a casino. I clenched my fists. Then where is it? Mark shrugged. It went into a business investment. Just like last time, you know how it works. I cut him off. No, Mark, I know how it doesn't work because every single time you lose everything. So tell me,